All in Sports Network. We love sports.
This is the immediate reaction to the Texas demolition of Georgia. 35-10, Texas gets railed by the Georgia Bulldogs on the road, and this is All in Horns, presented to you by Rogue Sports Network. I'm Tanner Carlson. That is Jake Jimerson. And, missed opportunities, shooting yourself in the foot, drop passes, just holding and false starting and getting penalties in the least opportune time throughout the entire game, and not being able to cover receivers 20 yards down the field or more tend to lose you the game. And that was kind of the recipe that the Texas Longhorns put together tonight, and an absolute brutal watch. I thought Arch Manning came out on fire. Thought he looked really good to start the game. Every pass he threw was in the hands of his receivers, and the receivers couldn't catch anything. It started on the first play of the game, Jake. I literally, we did the swing screen pass to Wingo, and he had room to run, and he toe picks it and gets a yard. And I looked over at my dad. My parents came over for the game. I looked over to my dad. I said, "Oh, it's going to be one of those nights." He goes, "Dude, it's the first play." I said, No. I from the first play when Wingo toe picked it when he could have gone 30 yards, I said, "No, it's going to be one of those days." And it absolutely was.
So it wasn't that play for me that did that for me. It was when Texas got in the red zone that drive and immediately false started and then was out of the red zone. I was like, oh, yeah, I know how this is going to go.
Yeah. Cole Hudson had a really bad game. I mean,
the offensive line had a bad game again.
I thought the pass pro wasn't horrible, but then again, Georgia's rush isn't bad.
One of the worst pass rushes in college. This was their best game, pass rushing, Georgia's, by far.
Yeah.
Like, they said it during the broadcast, like, this is the best Georgia's pass rush has looked all year, and it was against Texas. And there was a semblance of a run game, but they had to abandon it because they fell down so quick.
Yeah.
And they were never going to get big chunks in the ground game either, so there was no point.
If you wore number one for this Texas team, you cost Texas in multiple ways, offensively and defensively. That fourth down offsides by Simmons, I mean, that put the exclamation point on the ass kicking. I mean, if there was ever a play that just said, yeah, no, there's no chance at a comeback, it was the fourth down offsides by Colin Simmons when it was completely unnecessary to jump off sides. Got away with a pass interference. Should have been pass interference as well on that same play. But yeah, if you were number one for the Texas Longhorns, whether you played offense or defense, you had a big part in costing Texas this game. And Ryan Wingo has the worst hands on the team. I think Ryan Wingo should be wide receiver 5 or 6 at best. I'm tired of watching him. I'm just so sick and tired of watching him play. I can't do it anymore. I'd rather have guys that aren't as fast and can't run a route nearly as well as he can. And I'd rather substitute that for a guy who can actually catch the damn ball, because I can't do it. And I don't think he's ever broken a single tackle. I'm not sure he's broken one tackle. He had a screen, I think, in the third quarter where the defender put a pinky finger on his pinky toe, and he tripped and fell and got like 4 yards when it should have been at least 10.
Yeah, I mean, he made some nice catches in the second half, but it's like he finally made some contested catches in the second half, but at that point, it's too little too late. And my thing is just the first half was, you know, there's been games where you felt like Sark didn't get his footing into the game until late. This is not one of those games. I mean, this was players in this first half that fumbled the bag.
Oh yeah.
Just drops. How many drops in the first half alone? 5, 6?
5.
There was 3 on one drive.
Yeah.
There was 3. First down should have been a 20-yard play drop. Second down should have been a 10-plus yard play drop. Third down should have been a 15-yard play drop.
Yeah, that was 3 back-to-back after the goal line. You're backed up to your own end zone, and Arch is just calmly sitting in the end zone, about to get a safety, just as calm as could be, delivers an absolute dime to Emmett Mosley. Mosley goes 40 yards down the field, and then they finally bring him down, and then 3 back-to-back drops, one of which was Wingo. Jake, I got nothing for the skill positions or lack of skill positions for this team. I don't think anybody other than in the Emmett Mosley, I don't want like receiving passes from Arch anymore. Like I'm just to a point to where the receivers were horrible. Running backs I thought played hard. The blocking assignments from Baxter and from Wisner are just dreadful to watch. Them in pass pro, them trying to pick up a blitz or an extra rusher is just, it's painful to watch. And it's painful for Arch to play because he gets hit almost every time they send an extra rusher because the running backs can't pick up any type of extra rusher at all. Can't pick up a blitz, can't help, can't do anything right when it comes to pass pro at the running back position or tight ends. For the tight ends are just as bad.
Yeah, it's just frustrating because I thought Arch looked really good tonight.
I thought he looked great.
If you would have told me Arch was going to play like that, just like moving the pocket, being pretty accurate, he didn't have too many just inaccurate balls. He never looked rushed. He never did the sidearm crap. Like I just.
Yeah. The one thing that I wanted he and Sark maybe come together at some point, come to Jesus moment earlier in the game. Later in the game, it is what it is. Maybe when you're down, 10-14, maybe you can try to come up with something. I don't think not one time did I ever see a designed rollout from Arch in this game. Nothing that was a design, get him out of the pocket, give him the option to use his legs. They never had a designed run other than just one of the worst play calls I've ever seen in my life was the QB draw on, I think, 3rd and like 16 or something like that. And they ended up punting, but which got no yards or lost yards. But I just thought the inability or the unwillingness to get Arch outside of the pocket to try to get him maybe an option to even use his legs. Not that maybe he could have, but he stayed in the pocket essentially all game. He did a good job maneuvering around the pocket. I just didn't see any design play actions.
Georgia had a game plan for it. They weren't going to let him run. I mean, they were containing pretty heavily. Also, Georgia's speed. I just don't think you're going to get Arch with him. And the problem in this game you can sit there and but who cares if he's rolling out and a guy drops it? Like, cool, he threw a pass on the run and a guy dropped it.
Yeah.
Like this game was holdings and drops.
Yep.
And a defense that we know is just average now. I don't really care that they leveled out after the first 2 touchdowns. I thought Georgia got super conservative after those 2 touchdowns. I thought Georgia took their foot off the gas, which is not something they do typically on the highway. But they took their foot off the gas. That's the only reason this game stayed close. And Texas just couldn't get out of their own way, whether it be, the offensive line penalties, which has been a constant with Kyle Flood as the offensive line coach at Texas. They have always gotten a lot of penalties, and it costs them. You can't do that on the road at Georgia, and you can't drop passes. I mean, just there. I think there was probably, counting in my head, I was going back, there had to be 6 or 7 drops in that first
there's
half.
Also, there had to have been, but there's also, I mean, the amount of special teams holding, special teams got worked today as well, allowing big plays against them and then holding and taking away big plays from Niblett. And like you were saying, Jake, you and I, before we even hit the record button, it's not that we're complaining that the referees were calling the penalties. It's that they were actual holdings. Like, I thought the officiating was fine, except for there were moments, a lot of moments, where Georgia just getting away with just ripping jerseys off.
The officials weren't fine. I'm just going to say that now. They were fine with the penalties they called on Texas.
Sure, yeah.
They were not fine with the fact that Georgia got 1 penalty for 15 yards and was holding Colin Simmons every play.
Yeah.
I have no problem with a single penalty called on Texas. The officials did not lose. They could have called 10 holdings on Georgia. Georgia still wins this game. They're a better team than Texas. I'm just tired. This is 3 games in a row where Georgia just does not get called for a holding call, and Texas gets called for a ton. And Georgia is holding the same exact way.
Yeah.
So the rest were not fine. They were dog shit again. but they did not lose Texas.
They
this
didn't
game.
cost anything. They didn't have a
No,
factor in the way that
No,
this
and
game was.
all
Yeah.
the penalties on Texas were good calls. I don't have a problem with a single penalty called on Texas. I just have a problem with, everything that we've known that was wrong with this offense went wrong tonight, other than Arch Manning. We know Arch Manning is a dude now, I think. Look at him. Look at this performance from just him, just the microscope of just Arch Manning compared to his first start on the road at Ohio State and his second start of the road at Florida. It's a different player. The progression is obvious. And now this becomes, because this season's this team, I don't even want them to make the playoffs.
I'm with
if
you,
they
Jake.
win
I
out,
don't want to
not-
watch this team any longer.
Good news
than I have
is
to
they're
watch
not
it.
beating A&M. I don't think A&M's near as good as their record. They were showing the SEC standings today and A&M schedule. It's literally just the entire bottom half of the SEC they played, and that's
Correct.
it.
Yeah.
They haven't played a single ranked SEC team. Texas isn't going to beat them, though. Texas will be their first ranked SEC win this year. I have zero hope. Texas A&M's offense is going to score 40 plus in that game.
Yeah, they'll move the ball unless they just turn the ball over consistently. But we don't have an answer for KC Concepcion. We don't have an answer for the weapons that they have on the outside.
No. That's the difference between A&M last year and this year is A, Marcel Reed has improved, and then B, they have a stacked wide receiver group. And I really hope, what I was saying before that was I hope Texas, the key now, you have to build a championship roster next year because you did not have a championship roster this year. You hoped you did. You thought you did potential-wise. You didn't. Next year, you have to have a championship roster because Arch Manning's going to be really, really good next year. Next year, he's going to be at the level the hype was for him because he's already starting to get there. Tonight could have been a huge night if people could just catch the ball. His numbers would have been outrageous, and this would have been a close game even with Georgia scoring 35.
It would have been a different game from start to finish if you start getting those caught passes in the first 2-3 opening drives for Texas in the first half. Because in the first half, Texas had 3 points. I think with no drop passes in the first half and passes that weren't like drop passes that the guys like diving for and reaching one-handed, tried to get, one-handed snags or something like that. No, these are passes that are in the hands, right through the hands of these wide receivers. If we don't have a single drop pass in the first half, Jake, this game at halftime is probably around the lines of 14-10, maybe 14-13, something along those lines.
Texas has a lead if they catch balls. I actually think.
I think even if they don't get into the end, I'm not going to just guarantee that they get into the end zone, but I am going to guarantee they get field goals out of it at least minimum and a touchdown.
It's at worst like 14-13, if not Texas in the lead.
At the least amount of points Texas would have at the first half without dropping a single pass, it would be like 13-14.
But that's the problem with this team this year. You'd never seen them hit their potential for 4 quarters. We thought we saw it against Vanderbilt, and then the fourth quarter, they caused it to look close. And it's an inconsistent team. They're young, and it shows. And they have huge holes. And I don't know what's wrong with the secondary because the secondary shouldn't be this bad because they have dudes back there. I don't know if it's because they brought in Akina, and Akina is just old and lost his touch, because that's the big change they had in the secondary from a coaching perspective. But the defense, we're going to sit there and complain about the offense because they only scored 10 points, and rightfully so. This defense is not elite this year. They are an average defense.
Yeah, they're middle of the road. They're a middle of the road.
And
conference.
the passing defense is bad. It's not middle of the road. It's bad.
The pass rush and the run defense are good to average, and then the pass
rush is elite. That's the only thing that's elite, though. The run defense is really good against teams who aren't good at running the ball. Florida and Georgia bullied them up front.
Yeah, that was I tweeted something out, and I tweeted a lot of things out. Visit my Twitter handle is right there. My X handle is right there on the screen for you. Please go visit it and see if you agree or disagree. But I put out, hey, what was the point of getting all those transfer defensive tackles? What was the reasoning for that? Because the two teams that could just bully you up the middle and just power run it, did exactly that and just completely controlled the game at the line of scrimmage with just pushing your defensive tackles back 5 yards before even contact was made with a running back. So it, like you said, like you were alluding to earlier, Jake, the biggest thing for this coaching staff moving forward, and Steve Sarkisian has a hell of a job to do in the offseason, a big job. And he's got to hit transfer portal, and he's got to get guys developed. He's got to find missing pieces. He's got to evaluate his players in a non-biased. Oh, these guys have been here for 2, 3, 4 years. Yeah, they're on the roster, good to go. Competing with the guys that we've already got here on campus. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's got to go out and find some talent because the next year, like you said, you're going to have a championship caliber quarterback. Can you put a team around him? You're going to have a championship caliber edge rusher and a championship caliber quarterback. Those are your two most important spots. You're probably going to have a championship caliber left tackle and Trevor Gooseby if he can develop into something that's pretty extraordinary that you and I think he can possibly be if he can reach that potential. You've got 3 main keys there. What do you do with everybody else? Because that's what I'm looking for. I'm talking. You got to bring in pieces everywhere. I think tight end sucks this year. Jack Entries hasn't done anything that has impressed me at all. I think tight end has been horrible, and I think that's a huge part in the success of Steve Sarkisian's run game. I think obviously the offensive line needs to be completely revamped, and I think you need to find some wide receivers that can catch the damn ball. And I don't know if that comes from Jamie French and Tyler Lockett or Khalil Lockett and some of the younger, 5 stars that were in this year's class that are going to be sophomores next year. But man, you better hope that they come up and they live to that potential because this roster needs a complete overhaul. You're going to lose a lot of linebackers. You've got experience at linebacker, and you're going to lose a lot of players at linebacker. Hopefully, Anthony Smith is still continuing to progress. I thought he played a really good game tonight. And then you got guys like Bo Barnes that hopefully comes up. But your secondary is without Manny Muhammad, this secondary is trash. Jelani McDonald looks lost at times. I think Gilbo is not played great at all. Cade Phillips looks a little lost again. He's a true freshman. He will hopefully develop. But yeah, there's a lot of pieces on the back end of your defense that needs to be reworked, and you need to get some more talent at those positions.
Yeah, it's going to be, you're going to kind of have to do double time what you would normally do in the portal because of the mistakes you made this year. Because you're going to have to hit offensive line heavy. You're going to probably have to try to get at least one wide receiver. Livingston, the good thing with wide receivers, pretty much everyone will be back. And there are dudes who are, Emmett Mosley I'm very excited about his future as a Longhorn. Yep. He looks awesome. I don't think DeAndre Moore is going to be able to go pro. He had the one drop tonight. I think that was his first drop all season. So I'm not worried about him. And if you could ever teach Wingo how to catch the ball, he could be elite. He has every other skill you want other than catching the ball.
Yeah, he's just in my doghouse right now, so it's hard for me to say anything good about him.
No, I get that, but the talent is there without a doubt. If he could just catch the ball consistent, he needs to catch the ball like he did in the second half. The second half was the best he's caught the ball all year. He made probably 3 of the toughest catches of his career in the second half. And he needs to build off that because he has all the talent in the world. That's unquestionable. So I think wide receiver room, they're going to be really good next year, especially if they can go out and get one really good wide receiver that steps in and can start right away. But the offensive line is going to be a big overhaul. Like you said, you got to figure out. I think Andres is gone this year, no matter what. And you gotta find someone that can stretch the field. I just don't think these bigger, slower tight ends, like Gunnar Helm was. I thought Andres was faster, and maybe he's just got slower or something because he didn't look that slow in his Cal film. But
he also just doesn't seem to be in any position to make a play ever on this offense, whether it's receiving or running.
And even when he does catch it, it's typically someone's right on him and he's down immediately.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them have someone with a little more quickness. I think Sanders and Helm are faster than him. And I'm not going to blame Sark for a tight end struggling because that is one thing that is been consistent before he was at Texas and while he's at Texas. The tight end has always exceeded their talent. So I think that tells me this tight end room isn't very good. And I think there needs to be some coaching changes. I'd probably get rid of Akina. I can't help but put blame on him when the secondary. Yeah, you lost Jade Barron and Makuba, but you still have Taft back there. You have Jelani McDonald. You're having miscommunications with guys back there that should not be having miscommunications.
Guys taking bad angles and stuff. It's just,
the soft zone coverage on some of the looking like Matt Eberflus's defense out there on a 3rd and 9, and Georgia's just able to on 3rd and 9. You should be going, we're going to get a pass rush going, and instead Stockton's able to get the ball out in less than 2 seconds because they just have a quick hitch route for a first down. There's going to have to be an overhaul of things because they can be a championship team next year. They have the foundation of a championship team, but you got to build to make it an actual championship team. And you got to kind of take a look in the mirror and figure out what's going wrong in games like this. I mean, this game, honestly, it went about like you and I predicted. You more so than me. I think I said 34-24. You said 34-17. I think both of our predictions were in play if people could just catch the football a little bit, like just half of the drops be catches. And just half of the holding calls, they probably score 17 or 24 points easily. But the game kind of went as we expected. Georgia's a better team. This was at Georgia. We both knew this defense wasn't going to play that well against their offense, and we both knew that their defense was going to make plays against our offense. And
it didn't help when the offense helps them makes those plays.
And that's what I was going to say. Honestly, their defense didn't even make that many. They played good. But Texas beat themselves on offense more than Georgia beat them. This wasn't like last year where you just felt like Georgia's defense is just crazy. Like they just have Texas in hell from a personnel standpoint. It didn't feel like a personnel problem this year. It felt like a just catch the damn football problem.
It's funny that you mentioned that because my dad had said something at halftime. He said, he goes, last year it felt like Georgia was just the stronger team. Like they were just bullying Texas defensively. Like Texas just couldn't physically get past them. He said, it doesn't feel like Texas is getting bullied in any type of way. They're just making way more mistakes, and Georgia's capitalizing on every single mistake and playing mistake-free. And they're not giving Texas a chance to get back in this game. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. This game was 14-10 in the second half. I mean, it's 25-10, and they get the surprise onside kick. Again, I thought special teams got destroyed. Again, that was just player execution and coaching, not being prepared for some kind of trick play with Kirby Smart and this coaching staff at Georgia. They pull something off every single week. You just got to be prepared for it. You just can't let them get away with it. But, kudos to Kirby and the staff at Georgia and the players for executing. I don't want a Georgia fan to get to this point in our video and be like, oh, are you saying that if Texas doesn't drop the ball, they win this game? Absolutely not. I think if Texas has caught every single drop pass, I think this game is probably 35-28, maybe. I think Georgia still wins this game, but I don't think that Texas gets blown out by 25 points. No, I don't.
Yeah, the game would be closer. I mean, Georgia's a better football team. They win this game regardless of catches because I don't think Texas would just automatically convert all of them into touchdowns. And I'm sure Georgia fans are going to rampage our comments like last year, and that's okay. But I hope they go back and look at our prediction video and see that we literally predicted this.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not
now. Last year I think was a little just. Optics were a little bit different. We were a little bit more confident about Texas going into the game and everything. And we thought that Texas last year was obviously a much better team than Texas this year, like without a doubt. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it should be misconstrued that we had any false hopes or not giving Georgia their credit or the, what's due. The only other thing that really sucks about today, Jake, just that little cherry icing on top of this game.
We don't need to talk about this. We don't.
You know where I'm going.
This is an All in Horns podcast. We can cut it here. We can stop. We don't have to discuss either of those things.
A&M and
I don't want
Oklahoma.
to. I don't want to discuss either of those. Why can't you just shut your mouth?
I'm not saying we have to discuss them. I'm just going to bring those two up. Yeah, they get huge wins on their
No,
season.
it's going to be funny because watch Texas beat A&M, and then A&M and OU both make the playoffs, and Texas not be in the playoff.
And then Texas beat
that's
both Texas A&M and Oklahoma.
That's the ultimate. Just like because I'm not like an A&M or OU fan, I won't just pump my chest over that if they get to go further. All I care about is going further in the postseason.
I'd feel worse. I mean, to beat A&M and to beat Oklahoma, and then for both of them make the playoffs and Texas not make the playoffs, and then you just sprinkle a little Texas Tech on there as well. Yeah, dude, that would drive me nuts. I don't even know if I'd watch the playoffs. I'd watch every game that doesn't involve those teams. But all right, hey, let's wrap it up. I'm done talking about it. Yeah, we're about to get into off-season talk, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk a little Arkansas, Texas, but I think the majority of our conversations from here on out. Hey, basketball won. Shout out to the basketball team.
They've had a couple wins since we last.
Yeah, they're 3-1.
Discussed them.
Yeah, so
they're blowing out the teams like they should. Today's game was a little closer than you would like, but it's fine. They're in the middle of games against bad teams. Sometimes it happens.
I was able to watch at least the first half of that game. I pretty much paid close attention to the first half. To me, the ball movement was all there. Great offensive set plays. It was just not being able to put the ball through the hoop. But you had wide open looks. You had great shots. You had good shot selection and good offensive ball movement. And it resulted in, getting everything that you wanted. You just didn't get the results because you couldn't put the ball through the hoop. So that was really the only big thing that I got out of it. But defensively, they, smothered Kansas City as they should have. They should have taken care of them like they did. So, like you said, probably wanted it to be a little bit more of a blowout, but sometimes the ball just doesn't go through the hoop. But you were able to get that.
The game was never like close or in doubt, or there was never an upset alert.
Yeah,
and this is about the worst Texas has shot this year.
It was a really bad
the Duke game, but Duke game, first game against Duke.
Duke is also starting to look pretty damn good. And so it's like, hey,
Duke's a wagon this year.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about the Longhorn basketball team.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited for basketball season. I think it'll be basketball season last year felt like a little like hell coming out of, the awesome season that was Texas football. This year, I think it's going to be a little bit of an opposite effect.
Yeah. It might lift our spirits a little bit more.
Yeah, I think basketball is going to be a little bit more positive, a little bit more fun, because this football season's just been
a drag.
It's just been emotionally draining because even when they've won, it hasn't been pretty most of the time.
Yeah,
and they're just a frustrating team to watch, like because you see the potential to be a great team, but it's consistent that they can't get out of their own way.
Yeah. And you and we both trust Sark to get it done. Like we both trust Sark to get this.
I mean, I got off of X tonight after I saw.
Yeah.
I just saw throw the whole bank at Kirby Smart, and it'd be hilarious because Kirby Smart would come to Texas and they wouldn't win a national championship right away because he didn't win one at Georgia until year 6.
Yeah.
And he hasn't won one at Georgia since he won the 2 in a row.
Yeah.
And so he wouldn't win one right away because you don't just hire a coach and magically win a national title the majority of the time.
Yeah.
It happens every now and then. Very, very rarely.
There are maybe 1 or 2 coaches in the entire country that I would not even put above Sark. I would just take in a substitute of Sark. It's not that I would take them over Sark. It would just, if Sark left and there would only be maybe 2 guys on that entire list that I would be interested in getting. One of them is Marcus Freeman. The other one, probably Ryan Day, to be completely honest with you. Those are probably the 2 guys.
Yeah. I just don't like Kirby Smart.
I don't want him to run my program. Absolutely not. I don't want that.
I mean, Ryan Day didn't win one till like year 5 or 6.
I don't even like Ryan Day all that much. The only guy I actually like aside from Sark, I mean, I like Lane Kiffin, but I don't want him. I think he's a downgrade from Sark. I don't think he's something that we haven't.
Lane Kiffin's just like a lesser version of Sark.
Yeah, he's really fun. I like him as a person. I think he's a cool dude, but I don't want him to replace Sark by any means. Like, again, I think there's a list of maybe 3 or 4 guys in the entire country that I put on the same level. Now, I think Kirby Smart is on that level, but in terms of me hiring a different coach, that is not Sark.
Kirby Smart's on a different level than Sark. He's one of 2 coaches you would put at a unequivocal higher level than Sarkisian right now.
Yeah.
Like that you can't debate him and Ryan Day.
Yeah.
Because Dabo isn't now.
No.
And he's the only other one who would qualify. I mean, Marcus, I guess maybe you could give Marcus Freeman the nod. He's been to the national title.
Again, I would put him on the same level as Sark, though. I'm not putting him above
Yeah,
Sark.
I was just discussing like what people would say to put over Sark, because there's not many coaches that have won a national title that are
I think
coaching.
there's 2 active.
Yeah, there's
3 active.
Yeah, 3. Kirby Smart,
Dabo and Ryan
Day. Dabo just doesn't count at this point, though.
He's about to be inactive. It feels like he might be not an active head coach. But I don't think people put that into their perspective whenever they're talking about coaching changes. Who are you going to get? Because, again, out of all the national championships that have been won, only 3 active head coaches currently have won a national championship at the Division I college football level. That's just the world we live in right now. Saban won 15 of them, it felt like, in the last 20 years, and then he retired. And it was like, oh, yeah, that doesn't typically happen very often.
And hey, we don't know if Sark's going to be the coach next year right now. Not because Texas would fire him. Those NFL rumors, sure, they're dissipated for now. We won't know if that's a real thing until the season's over.
Yep.
We haven't discussed it, but
Jake, until every NFL head coaching vacancy is filled, that rumor is still alive and well, in my opinion.
And guess what happens the day the NFL season ends? Whole bunch of coaches get fired.
Yep.
And we're going to find out whether that rumor was true or not. Because Sark may take an interview this offseason, and then we'll find out what happens from there. But I can guarantee you one thing, Texas isn't getting Kirby Smart, and they aren't getting Ryan Day.
No.
So you got to hope you can money whip Notre Dame, which is easier said than done.
Yeah, good luck with that. They're getting in the playoffs because of it.
Or join the insane bidding war for Lane Kiffin.
Don't love that.
Which doesn't do anything for me.
No.
So
I honestly, Jake, I would probably just go for like a Joe Brady or something. I would just go for a name that kind of probably isn't being thrown out there very much. I don't know.
And I don't love that.
I don't love a lot of
getting a guy that doesn't have any head coaching experience.
We got Kurt Signetti, who just signed a top 3 deal.
Yeah, you're not getting Signetti.
No,
you sit there and go. Indiana isn't losing Signetti with that deal. They're
Elko
not.
Just is. I think rumors are. I don't think it's official.
I wouldn't want Elko.
I'm just saying. These are just names that people are going to throw out that I'm like, no, we're already discrediting them because it's just not. There's not going to be a ton available that is going to be able to fill the spot for Texas, and you just go, oh boy, do I love that.
Yeah, I mean, with the shit show that is this coaching carousel this summer, or not the summer, but this upcoming off season, because you're going to have, there's so many big jobs open. With Florida, the only good thing Texas would have in their advantage in that scenario is not paying a huge buyout. They'd be getting money back.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm just saying we haven't discussed that in a while, but it's not like there's not a 0% chance.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree completely. Yep. All right. We'll wrap up this episode. Texas, 2 more games left on the regular season, and then they'll play in whatever bowl game that they get. But they've got Arkansas leads games going into the fourth quarter almost every single week, and then ends up losing by 2 or 3 points. Almost, it's like clockwork with these Razorbacks. So they're bound to win a game sooner or later. Why not against Texas? Texas finishes their season last 2 home games of the regular season, Arkansas and Texas A&M. So we'll see if they can finish out on top. They can beat Arkansas. They can maybe play a little spoiler alert for Texas A&M and ruin an undefeated season there for the Aggies. So that's what is left on the schedule for Texas. And then again, the bowl game. But that's Jake Jimerson. I'm Tanner Carlson. We will come out with these episodes each and every single day, 5 days a week, releasing at noon. So please like, share, and subscribe. We're on Spotify and where all podcasts can be heard and listened to, and on YouTube as well. So that's going to do it. As always, ladies and gentlemen, hook 'em.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.